Welcome to another edition of Ekiti Discourse. Let's talk Ekiti today. Today we have on the podcast a guest who spent close to 2 decades in DFID, where she was an administrative officer, assistant program officer, regional program manager, Southwest regional coordinator. She was also a special advisor on development partnerships and SDGs in June 2019 to October 2022. Good to have you, ma.
Thank you.
Our name is Dr. Mrs. Margaret Fagboyo. Thank you for coming here.
Thank you for having me.
My name is Awin Fayola Luasheun, and with me,
My name is Darcy Oluwakunle.
My name is Tanimola Kolade.
I'm Ashwaju Kasalilafen.
All right. Esma, we would like to ask, first of all, we know you spent close to 2 decades in the FID, from administrative officer to Southwest Regional Coordinator. What inspired you to join the FID?
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for having me. My name again is Dr. Margaret Fagboyo. What inspires me to join DFID? I think I was just a young girl, freshly out of school, and looking for a job. But every time I pray, I'll say, I know I'm going to find a very good job. I just don't know why I was saying it, but I just have that conviction that I'm going to have a very good job. And I think God just orchestrated my step to defeat. Defeat was the one that found me. I didn't find defeat. So there was a team in Ekiti that came for maybe a research. They were looking for an office. And they said they are looking for an office assistant, someone they can just send around. And I said, I can do it. I will help you do it. So go and type this, I'll go and type this, go and get this sorted. I humbled myself. I became like a house help, running errands. So that was in April. Then July, there was a vacancy that they're looking for an admin officer. And they want 3 years experience. I was just out of school without experience. But something just told me that apply, it doesn't really matter. So I went to buy this book. I remember it's called Secretarial Duties. And I studied everything in that book, went for the interview. When I got to the interview, I saw a man that is a PhD holder. And I said, oh, I'm in the wrong place. I can't get this job. And I applied for it, went home. 3 hours later, you know this telephone that you have to use your hand, those Nitel phone. My phone just rang and they said, we want to speak with Taiwo Bello, because I was Taiwo Bello name. I wasn't married. That I want to inform you that you're successful. And I screamed, and that was how I got the job. So joined the job, went for training, and I learned through the rope. Like an admin officer, I started from the lowest cadre, learning the curves of development, managing bosses, managing staff in the office, you know, the office assistant, the cleaners, the drivers. And more responsibility was coming my way, you know, talking to my boss, between subordinate and boss, and also progressing to managing programs. My boss telling me to go and represent him in events. And that was how I started learning through the rope, you know, managing the office. And actually, DFID started from Ekiti.
Wow.
Yes, it started from Ekiti, 2001. And I was one of the first staff of DFID before we moved to Lagos.
Wow, that's
So
beautiful.
I can say development found me, not that I found it. It's just God just orchestrated me to be there. He positioned me to be in that place. And I spent 18 years with development world.
Wow. Thank you very much, Ma. I really do appreciate the discussion so far. We know that DFID is an arm of the British government responsible for development and poverty reduction in Nigeria.
Yeah.
What intervention were carried out other than focusing on Ekiti? What's intervention?
So many interventions were carried out on education, health, human development generally, and also governance. DFID is known for promoting good governance through election, election monitoring, supporting institutions that are actually supporting election. And also, when I was in DFID, like I said, I started as an admin officer. I was now promoted to program officer, and so the top of being a regional coordinator and head of the Southwest office. At a point, I was also given responsibility to lead the Southeast office. So I was managing 6 states in the Southwest, including Kwara, North Central, and also the Southeast. So about 11 states at that time. So what I do is to lead dialogue on DFID engagement across the states. So basically, deepening democracy. What are the things that INEC is supposed to be doing to sensitize the people? What are the things that police is supposed to be doing during election, voters registration, and also registering staff at the INEC office for election monitoring. So basically, we were doing development in private sector engagement to, encourage economic growth and position the state to be better, to be in a way to be able to grow economically, and also the tracking of MDG then, was Millennium Development Goals, before we had Sustainable Development Goals. So there are indicators. So what we do is rotate around the Southwest states to look at what are states doing to achieve the MDGs in terms of education, in terms of health, human capital development, in terms of agriculture. What is it that states are doing to ensure that they are tracking SDG? And when SDG also came, that's the slogan is "Leave no one behind." That's where we put people in the basket of people living with disability. When you are doing development, you shouldn't leave some people behind. So any program that we are having, like the one we just had last week, if you look at the attendance, there's a space for people living with disability. So we don't just invite people that are able again. We also invite people living with disability who are able in mind and can contribute to what the society is doing. So we are doing quite a number of things: health, transforming health services, education, what is giving support to farmers, to tractors, supporting them in all kinds of things. So it's across the thematic areas of development. So we're engaging with states, and at a point we did what we call the regional initiative funds, where they give us funds to do some strategic interventions across the states that I was leading then.
Okay, thank you very much, Ma. Something I find very interesting is the fact that you were a technocrat for years, and suddenly you found yourself in governance as a special advisor. So, what actually triggered your involvement in governance?
Yeah.
Or maybe I should phrase, how did you get involved
Yeah.
in governance?
What I would say, the way development found me was actually the way governance found me. I was just a small girl, minding my business, doing my job in the development space, growing across my career, having ambition that I want to get to the peak of my career. When a call came from Ekiti, from the then governor, Kawade Fayemi, and he said, "Margaret, I want you to join my government." And I said, "Wow." I said, "As what?" He said, "I want you to be managing my development partners engagement and all that." And I said, "Well, can you give me time to think about it?" And I went home, discussed with my husband, family members. At first, it was mixed feelings. Am I sure I want to join this government or not, and all that? Then my boss, who was Debbie Palmer as at that time, 2019, she called me to her office and said, "Margaret, where do you think you can be in the next 5 years? That is probably you might be in this same position for 5 years. Why not go and exploit some other things that you never can tell? You might find another part in governance." And I just told myself that I will pray about it. I prayed about it, and I called the governor that I'm ready to join your government. So I can say governance found me again, and that's how I found myself in Ekiti State doing development partners engagement, doing donors mapping, because when I came on board, you never can tell which of the development partners are also working in Ekiti State. So first thing I did was that I want to do donor mapping. So donor mapping shows who is working on health, education, water. At this glance, you can tell the number of people working in Ekiti State. So that was my first achievement. So the second one was a development partners meeting. What they normally have in the states is coordination across development partner support from Abuja. So I took it to a higher level to say, let's meet with decision makers, CEOs, head of agencies, where we also have opportunity to speak to them about Ekiti and what we intend to do, how we can collaborate with them, and how we can sustain existing relationship. Because before I came, there were support already on ground. So how do we deepen the relationship? How do we sustain it? And we started having development partners meeting in Abuja. And we had 4 before I left. So it's like a yearly thing where the governor will present to them the 5-point agenda as at that time. This is what I want to do. This is what I'm rolling out. How can you come in as development partners to support us? So that actually triggered them to say, okay, we can support you in this area. We can support you in this area. And I remember the first development partners meeting we had. The head of Bill and Melinda Gates said, this is the first meeting he's attending in Abuja. And the agenda is set out. And we met the agenda without digressing. So that was a plus for us, at least being the first development partners meeting. And also quite a number. I don't know whether you're still going to ask me, but there's a lot that we did. But let me just stop at that.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
As a special advisor on development partners and SDGs,
Yeah.
what can you consider your greatest achievements in office? And how were you able to navigate through funding? How do you get your funding? What are the difficulty phase and all the stuff? We really want to know.
Okay. Well, I cannot talk about my achievements without talking about the political will that was backing me. There was political will in Ekiti State. The governor knows what he wanted. He's focused. And I remember what he said to me. I want you to be the to-go person that will chase the money, that will chase development partners. I can't be going around. I want you to be my eye on development partners. So the political will was there. And also the enabling environment, apart from political will, if there's no enabling environment, there's no way you can survive. So the enabling environment was there. I have my office set up. I have my staff working with me. Everything was going on fine. And the then secretary to the governor then, who is now the present governor of Ekiti State, was like a central to the coordinating of development partners, because I also go to him to seek for advice. And I also have his backing. So I was having the backing of the governor and also having the backing of the then SSG, who is the governor of Ekiti State now. So I set the ball rolling. When I came, I thought there would be a budget waiting for me. But alas, there was no budget. And I told myself, I remember 2022 January, I told Mr. Governor, I said, can I go and look for money? And he said, you are permitted. So I went to Abuja. The whole of January 2020, I was in Abuja, visiting offices, because, it's my space. So I know who and who is in charge. So I went to the offices saying, this is what we want, submitting proposals. So Bill and Melinda Gates invited us to say, we saw your proposal. What is it that you want to do? And we said, we want to do X, Y, Z. Tabled everything in the proposal, talked about it. They asked questions. And they said, well, we are going to give you $571,000. I think we were asking for $800,000. And they said, okay, we'll cut it and give you $571,000. So that was my first win. That was my first funding that I got. And I came back to the States, told Mr. Governor, and he was excited. And we were also chasing other people to say, how can you be of help? Then shortly after development partners meeting, which was a very good one, because when you engage with them, it's like you are tracking them. You're following up on them that you have to do something. JICA also supported us with tractors, harvesters, to the Ministry of Agriculture. So that was why I started implementing what was in the proposal that I sent to Bill and Melinda Gates. So sometimes people see that I am busy. They think the money is coming 100% from government. But actually, I had to chase the money. I had to look for, you can't be development partners special advisor and not look for money. So that was how we started the engagement across board, doing advocacy, capacity building, also sensitizing people about SDG, which is my other core mandate, because I'm special advisor development and also SDG.
SDGs.
So the first thing we did in 2019 was to sign up to Open Government Partnership. Open Government Partnership, as you know, is about transparency, accountability, and also good governance. It's about bringing government and civil society together to work. Why civil society make demand and government also supply, and why the two of them also come together to hold government and civil society to deliver services to the people. So Ekiti State was the first state in the Southwest to sign up to OGP. So we are trailblazer in that. Then under the past government, we also developed the 50-year development plan, state development plan. Development partners, when they come to states and they see that you have signed to OGP, they know that this government is a serious government, because a government that is open, transparent, and accountable to the people is not hiding anything. It's coming out clean. They want to deal with you. Another thing is that you have a state development plan. That's a long-term plan that shows that this is the direction of travel, maybe in the next 50 years. A plan that outlive even the present governor, because he will spend 8 years. After 8 years, another. So it's outlive the present governor. So 50 times 4 divided by 4 divided by 50. You can imagine the number of governors that we are going to have before the end of the 50-year plan. So that shows that you know the direction of travel, you have a future plan, you have a long-term plan, that you know what you are doing. That when other governments come, that is the roadmap that they will be following. So for development partners, if you have OGP and you have development plans and you have structure and system in place, they see you as a serious partner. And that is what will attract development to the state. And to the glory of God, at least for the past 4 years, we had the highest number of development partner support to Ekiti State. Ekiti State was positioned, was a template and role model of a good state that is ready to exploit opportunities in the development space. And we had that support all through the government. And I think that presently too, the state is also in a good edge, on the right track to continue in that space, which I know they're already doing. So quite a number of things that we did, a lot of things.
That's brilliant.
Thank you very much, Ma. You've spoken well. You were recently announced as the new Director of Development at the African Center of Leadership, Strategy and Development. What are the core mandates at the center?
Yeah, thank you very much. When I left government, I was just looking at what I can do, and there was a vacancy at African Center for Leadership, Strategy and Development, and I applied for it, got the job. The core mandates, like we call it for short, Center LSD, is leadership, strategy and development. So for the leadership, we feel that we have many followers, many supervisors, but few leaders. And if you look at Nigeria, we have the problem of a good leader, very quality leaders. So what we are doing is, building the capacity and capability of individuals to be able to occupy leadership roles. Because as a leader, you have so many things to do. So we run a leadership school called Executive Leadership School for CEOs. We also run the Leadership Academy for middle managers. And we have also the masterclass for leaders who are heading parastatals. So we run that. The one for the middle class is about 1 week intensive training. We also have a month training. We also have 6 months. So it depends on what is suitable to you. because they are working class people. So you choose the one that is suitable for you. So why that pillar of leadership is to address the problem of leadership that we have in Nigeria, and also to build up organization capacity on leadership. So as an organization, what are you doing as a leader? What is the potential and the capabilities of those occupying the leadership position? And for strategy, a lot of people set up NGOs, set up organization without a strategy. And you know that if you don't have a strategic plan, you are going nowhere. So for us at Center LSD, we support organizations to develop strategic plan. It could be a 1-year plan, it could be 2 years. For us there as an organization, we do 5-year strategic plan. So that will also show the direction of travel. What do we intend to achieve? That guide us. Okay, are we achieving results? What is the next thing that we are also going to be working on? Not that we are just all over the place, working in silos and not having a direction. So a strategic plan position you to be focused and to have an eye on what you want to achieve. And the last part, which is the development pillar, and that's the pillar that I hate, is about 60% of what we do at the center. And that's the development projects. Do OGP, we do the side-by-side movement that talks about reduction of gender-based violence. We also do mining. How do we do mining right? What are the problems at the extractive industries? What is it that we can do right? How do we manage gender-based violence that happens in the mining site? You know, when industries or miners come to take advantage of our women. So development takes about 60% of what we do at the center, and that's where we look for the money, right? To NGOs, to funders, to give us money to run the projects. So that's the bigger part of what we do. So we do leadership, strategy, and development. And we do it through advocacy, capacity building, workshop, like what we just did in Ekiti State in the last 5 days.
Thank you very much, Ma. The governor of the state, Biodun Abayomi Ebanji, just recently inaugurated the Ekiti State Open Government Partnership, in which the African Center for Leadership, Strategy and Development plays a critical role. Kindly tell us more on what that committee seeks to achieve.
Yeah, first of all, I want to congratulate the governor. He's a very smart governor for inaugurating the committee members. Like you know, we inaugurated that committee about 2 years ago, but because the government has ended and officials have changed, there is need for us to inaugurate a new set. So how does it work? There's a 9 membership from government, then also a 9 membership from civil society. And that's why we call it co-creation. So it's equal membership from civil society and also government. So inaugurating them, the next thing for them to do is capacity building and sensitization, which we have done. Bringing on board those who are new about what OGP principles is all about, and also refreshing those who have attended the training before so that they both come on speed to know what their responsibility is all about. And the last 2 days too, they develop what we call the state action plan. State action plan is that, okay, we want openness, we want transparency, we want accountability. What do we want the state government and also civil society to do to be able to meet up to being transparent and open to the citizens that we serve? So they've developed 5 thematic areas of OGP that they want to work on. The first one is citizens engagement. And that is why I applauded you, all of you, for launching the Ekiti Discourse. Ekiti Discourse talks about the activities of the government, talks about what people are doing, and also the achievements around what is happening in the Ekiti State. So for me, you are contributing to one of the pillars of citizens engagement, OGP, which is citizens engagement. You are engaging with the citizens of the state. So well done, team, for that. And also OGP localization. The governor made it open that is going to sign up the local government to OGP. That will be the first of its kind in the whole of Nigeria. And I know that at the global conference in Kenya and also in Paris next year, this is going to be celebrated because we've never seen a state that all the local governments will sign up to OGP. So the governor knows the importance of being transparent. He's a transparent governor. it's accountable to the people with what he's doing with Shetigbo, Ojushebao, meeting, having stakeholders meeting with people like civil servants in Abuja, meeting with youths in the state, asking them what they want, what their problem is, and how it can help them. So for me, citizens engagement Ekiti is doing fantastically well. And also there's the gender lens. In everything that we do now, we look at it from the gender lens. So gender lens and also inclusion. How do we bring people who are people with disability into the basket of inclusion so that everyone counts, so that no one is left behind? So the steering committee is like the administrative governance. It's just like creating an ESCO without commissioners and special advisor. So with the steering committee, they will be able to drive the objective of OGP at the state level and also at the local government level.
Thank you very much for that. Yes, I'm a little bit curious because during COVID-19, you won an award for the prevention of the spread of COVID-19 in Ekiti State. And I would like you to share with us the roles you played that got you the award.
Yeah, yes, award, but apart from the award, I think we should talk about the impact that was made. And that was what stood Ekiti out at the point. The response, the governor was very proactive. First, to set up what we call the state task force, headed by Professor Mobolaji Aluku at that time. And also people across the state, local government, health sector, women, health, education, into the membership of the task force, doing all they could do, building up strategies to be able to fight COVID at that time. And also another thing that the governor did that stood him out was bringing like the best brain in Ekiti, outside Ekiti, in diaspora and outside, to come together to actually solicit for funds, identify projects, execute projects, and also to manage the activities of the committee as at that time. It was headed by Prince Ademilui, I can't remember it now, the owner of Julie Pharmacy, Prince Adelusi as at that time. So it was a 61 member and I'm the secretary. So we hold meetings every week, coordinating the activities of COVID-19 in Ekiti State. Another thing we did was providing palliative succor. You know, Nigerians they are social people. We move around. They can't tie us down. So at that time, 2020, they now ask you, you can't go outside your home. And you can imagine what we do to our body. Yeah. People could not go to work. There was no food. So the first thing we did was to start distributing palliative as a measure, palliative measure to reduce hunger as at that time. And also we purchased the molecular lab because when we started, we used to go and run our tests in Ibadan, Ilesha, and it would take 3-4 days before the results would come out. So we said, let's procure our own molecular lab, which we did, and we're able to test for COVID and other non-communicable diseases at that time. So that positioned Ekiti State very well as one of the states who managed COVID. We didn't make Ekiti a centerpiece for COVID-19. We didn't allow that. We were able to manage all that. And another outstanding thing that the governor and the committee did that time was that it gave us opportunity to look at our health sector, to upgrade the health facilities, to renovate the place, supply beds, because it brought out the weakness in the health sector and the committee was able to address it. And the governor also gave the political will and the support to the committee. But the committee did excellent work. And all the accounts, the report of the accounts was submitted to Mr. Governor.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
The Let's Talk Ekiti podcast is more of a showcase of giants in Ekiti, so that young people can really learn from giants, people that have done very well in their various field of careers. So what would be your advice for young women aspiring to be change makers in our society, most especially our young people, female in Ekiti. Everyone knows what is in town now. What's the advice will you give to young female?
Okay. The first advice I'll give to them is that they should seek knowledge first. They should seek knowledge. They should acquire skills. Because the way the world is going now is not only that I go to school that can solve the problem. They should acquire skills. They should also position themselves in such a way that they take criticism seriously and not personally. A lot of young people, you can't talk to them. One thing that helped me when I was growing is that I love feedback, no matter how difficult is it, no matter how hard, no matter how harsh. What I do with feedback is that I work on them seriously to be a better person. So let them position themselves that in such a way that when criticism comes, look at it objectively, address it, and be a better version of yourself. And also, what's their attitude to public service? What's their attitude to public service? Whatever you be is from your home. What is it that they place in your hands? How do you undo them? No matter how small a task is. Oh, help me organize these people. How did you not organize those people? When they call you for meetings, do you get there 30 minutes after or 1 hour later? Anything you do, no matter how minute, how small, be on top of it, do it very well, and do a life of impact. You are impacting the society by Ekiti Discourse. You are adding your own value, and it's first of its kind. For me, I applaud you guys, and I can see that you are going to go places. You are just starting small, humble, but in the next 5 years, Ekiti Discourse will be topmost where you want to be. So I want to encourage you, and I celebrate you for this platform.
Thank you.
So the last thing I will say is that when you do good, when you make impact, when you make yourself to be an influence in the society, there's a way nature rewards hard work. There's a way God just designed it that He will be orchestrating yourself to the next level. Just be sincere, be hardworking, make impact, like I said, seek knowledge, and be open to criticism, and take it seriously and not personally.
Wow. Thank you very much for your time, Ma.
Yeah.
It will interest the public to know that Dr. Mrs. Margaret Fagboyo is, let me say, one of the stakeholders to publicly endorse Ekiti podcast. So we are very much grateful.
I endorse you guys.
Yeah, it was actually good engaging with you, Ma, and we hope that next time we call you, you answer us.
I'm a stakeholder in Ekiti Discourse, so I'm one of the staff here.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And until next time, let's talk
talk
Ekiti.
Ekiti.